I think you've all mistaken negativity for honesty. That's not necessarily to say that negativity cannot be honest. I think we've seen very recently that there are a lot of examples of people who are giving their genuine, honest rage at a system or frustrations against injustice or the terrible things going on around them. But I've been recently looking into my comments and people who would talk to me on Twitch and find me more genuine when I'm upset, despite my general sort of positive vibe. And I take issue with that. I take issue with the idea that something is inherently more honest because it is angry. I have a couple of reasons why I do this, but I think the most prominent one is that once footage, once audio, once text meets internet, it becomes content, whether we want it or not. Once these ideas are shared, the way that people interpret them will never be the same way that you might if you were in a call with somebody by yourselves, or if you were even in a lecture hall, or there is such a degree of separation between yourself and the artist or the creator or the inventor or the speaker that you can't 100% always be sure that they're being candid. I think so you've noticed that despite my deleting some ums and some r's and some pauses, some ahs even, so you've noticed that I've let them in despite my saying that I want to keep in what brings value to the video. And surely one might think, well, surely the point, the story, is the most important part of what I'm trying to give. But that's not true. Part of the value that you lose in cutting all that out is this kind of simulacrum of talking with me as a person, of you being on the other side of this camera and me venting to you or me talking to you about these points, right? And humans, as much as I'm trying to be better than human, as much as I'm trying to move past the general humanisms of speech, humans do stumble, and those stumbles are endearing. I think it's really funny that a whole generation has forgotten how 10 and 20 years ago, people would play a wrong note on a song and go, oh, silly me, I'm just like one of you. And, or better yet, the TikTok-ism of the boomer putting down the phone before speaking, or the pause before speaking. While these might be completely candid actions from the perspective of somebody who is not familiar with the game, these are meant to some degree elicit a response. When a millennial or when an older person, sorry millennials, when an older person opens up their TikTok and sees another older person pause because they're waiting for the video to start, it elicits a kind of familiarity reaction, doesn't it? You also feel, I would do that. And there are a lot of other things that, I would do that too. I think I've been cribbing off of Bo Burnham recently. If I hadn't said Bo Burnham before in one of these, that means I've skipped one of these, and you should go after me for lost footage. But Bo Burnham once said that art is a lie and nothing is real, and I think the particular landscape that is social media has made it so that even as true as you can be, that truth becomes art. And somewhere down the line, that art becomes a lie. Now, I've been poking at falsehood in creation. I've been poking at I've been trying to debunk the fact that just because somebody seems to be genuine, somebody seems to be frustrated, doesn't necessarily mean you should take that at face value. But I'm going to invert that for a second. I'm going to say that just because somebody's being positive doesn't mean they're fake. I am familiar with an individual. I'm going to say, hello, Susa. If you're watching my YouTube videos for the first time, hello, Susa. There are some individuals out there who I think are just so well adjusted in a way that is so aspirational that many of us feel inadequate in comparison, right? Many of us feel as though there is this kind of falsehood that must be placed out because we do not measure up to that level of positivity. And I think it's not wrong to have aspirations. It's not wrong to look at this example of a person who can make everyone smile and enjoy themselves, and the kind of person you want to be, the kind of person that betters you from being around them. I don't think it's wrong to see that, observe that, and like that. And furthermore, I don't think it's bad necessarily I don't necessarily think that that kind of positivity has to be fake. Now, I will, if I were to turn over an uglier side of me, I will say that I've definitely put on a kinder face in the past. I've definitely been angry on stream for more than one period of time and had to be happy for the purpose of either audience retention or for my own sanity. But is that falsehood? Is my putting on or my pushing this aspirational self forward necessarily false if that's what I want to be in the future? Or if that's what I'd like to be? And I think more often than not, I'm happy. More often than not, it is my nature to try to make people smile or make people enjoy themselves. And this is where people start tuning off. I resent the idea that positivity necessarily has to be this fake thing. And the way I'm trying to describe this to you now is that, firstly, negativity can be artifice as well. It can be fake. I'm not saying all negativity or all positivity on the internet is fake, but it can be done. How many of you have watched Black Mirror? 15 million merits. To really briefly summarize this, because I think I'm running out of time, this person gets one shot at being popular in order to reach their girlfriend who's been taken by the system, taken by this tide of social media voting. And they work up to get their shot, go up, and hold themselves hostage with a plate of glass. Hold themselves hostage and say, there are things wrong with our society, and we should be upset. And the people who are watching him, the judges, the Simon Cowell-esque judges, say, this is perfect. This is what we need. This is what we haven't seen before. And this person's rage, this person's event, this person's trauma becomes serialized into into content that people consume. And it's a cautionary tale. It's a cautionary tale about not taking everything at face value. I think it feels good to see people saying it how it is, and people being frustrated with the same things that you're frustrated about. But I also think it's an inherent good to try to leave that space and work towards finding yourself in a way, finding a state of existence where you don't find yourself constantly sort of kicking your own feet or kicking gravel. I said I had 2 points. I talked about why negativity can be false and why positivity can be true. But it goes into diet. Ding ding, 10 minutes.